All right, folks, we are going to look at an article that came out yesterday by Forbes magazine. It is titled Student Loan Forgiveness Payment Counts Halted by Department of Education. The author is Adam S. Minsky. He is a senior contributor. This article was published yesterday on July 7th, 2025. This article does not apply to IB. A major federal student loan servicer has started notifying borrowers that the Department of Education has temporarily halted payment counts associated with student loan forgiveness progress under IDR and PSLF. That's income driven replacement and public service loan forgiveness. And it's removed the ability for borrowers to monitor their progress. So, IDR and PSLF, you cannot monitor your progress. Now, we know this is not the first time we've been in this situation, right? Okay. The announcement, which appears to reflect ongoing system-wide problems at the department following mass layoffs last spring, is another setback for borrowers as the federal student loan repayment system remains plagued by dysfunction and backlogs. Meanwhile, Congress and the Trump administration have moved forward to implement massive changes to loan programs that will impact millions of Americans. Federal student aid has temporarily removed the progress payment counts from studentaid.gov for PSLF and IDR, says an automated announcement on Mohila's main customer service phone line for Department of Education accounts. Quote, according to Mohila, unfortunately, our representatives do not have additional information related to your forgiveness counts. Please continue to visit studentaid.gov for updates. Let's all take a sigh of relief. We're all going to breathe. Nobody panic. We've been through this before, right? Okay. Because trust me, I know the feeling because this is frustrating and I would be frustrated. Okay. But we can't lose hope and we won't. All right. All right. Here's what we know about Mohila's announcement and what student loan borrowers should understand as the repayment system goes through the most significant changes in generations. Okay. Remember Trump's BBB, big beautiful bill with the student loan changes there. All right. Student loan forgiveness tracking for IDR remains down. Payment counts not updating. So you need to keep track of the payment counts. Screenshot, 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 and back it up in multiple places, okay? In January, during the last month of the Biden administration, the Department of Education launched a long-awaited feature of studentaid.gov that allowed borrowers to track and review their progress towards student loan under under income-driven repayment plans. IDR plans provide borrowers with monthly payments tied to a formula based on family and income size, okay? Until the IDR tracker went live, borrowers often had no idea where they stood on their progress. The IDR tracker provided a high-level overview to borrowers of their IDR status. Okay, so basically this whole paragraph here, it's about the benefits of income-driven repayment, tracking your status. So that right now is down. Hey, there's some things I could use for next year. You can look at those cute little headbands. All right, back on track. Hey, you know how this channel goes. But last spring, the Trump administration quietly removed the IDR tracker from studentaid.gov. I'm going to assume quietly means they didn't announce it to a whole bunch of people. I've not heard any channels talk about this story, so I'm really surprised, okay? So the Trump administration has removed the income-driven replacement tracker, leaving borrowers in the dark again. Why are they doing it? They're saying this is necessary to address problems with the tracker and correct inaccuracies. Again, we're not a political channel. Some people could say this is just all politics and that there's a problem where there really isn't one. I really don't know. Okay, so I'm not even going to try. In addition, the removal came after a key court ruling in February that suggested that student loan forgiveness under 3 IDR plans, here they are, ICR, Payee, and the new SAVE plan. So ICR, income contingent repayment, so I think that is, Payee, and don't forget there's also Repayee, okay? And the new SAVE plan was inconsistent with congressional intent. As a result, the department has blocked student loan forgiveness under these plans. Okay, let me give you what I understand of this, okay? Having had student loans for 16 years. These plans were not, and I think they state it later here, these plans weren't created by Congress. And I think that's the big thing. Okay. Whereas IBR, income-based repayment, I think they say it here later in this article, was created by Congress. This is why this section here, okay, it's inconsistent with congressional intent. In other words, are these three plans and the way they are being administered and the way student loan forgiveness is being granted under them, was this what Congress had intended? Again, if you're on IBR, this article does not apply to you because IBR is congressional. All right, scroll on down here. Forgiveness is a feature of the Save, Payee, and ICR plans is currently paused. That means no forgiveness at this time. Okay, so but keep track of your counts. Okay, because those plans were not created by Congress. There, I've read that correctly. That's what I thought. Said the department in updated guidance. However, the department noted that student loan forgiveness under the IBR plan remains available. ED can and will still, education department, okay, can and will still process loans for the IBR plan, which was separately enacted by Congress. Whereas payments on Save, Payee, and ICR are counted toward IBR plan forgiveness if the borrowers enroll in IBR. You see, not all hope is lost. So that means if you have Payee, Save, and income, I think that's income, I can't remember what ICR is, okay? I have a lot of abbreviations to remember. Here is income contingent repayments, what I think it means. You need to get onto an IBR plan. Okay. If you just stay, and here's the part that scares me. And people do this. They stay for years on Pay and Save and ICR, and they don't roll it over into an income-based repayment plan. And here's the other kicker. And I'm sure 99.9% this still stands. The loan forgiveness counts you have, say such as for 120 for PSLF, or for those of you going for 20, 25-year long game, those payments towards your loan forgiveness don't count until it is under IBR. So something to keep in mind is still why you don't want to delay it. You can spend 5 years on Payee and it's like, nope, none of those count because you weren't under IBR. Okay. Let's see. In June, Senator Elizabeth Warren announced that Education Secretary Linda McMahon had agreed that the IDR tracker would be restored to student8.gov soon. She stated she intends to soon restore the income-driven repayment count tracker to student8.gov. But so far, Secretary McMahon's assurances have not materialized. Some borrowers are reporting that IDR counter data still accessible via student8.gov is not updating. While others who should have reached the threshold for student loan forgiveness under IBR have yet to receive a discharge. That to me is just so unfair. You have got your 120. And in most cases, okay, say in every case, you can't leave the job you have until that has been discharged. So you go, yay, I got my 120, I'm out of here. And you quit the job, send off your paperwork, guess what? They can make it go back to another job because they're going to deny it. So this is something that you really, really have to think about. And this is why, the people who are on the threshold of the 120 are already there. This really isn't fair to them. But you've got to stay at that job. In most cases, that is how I have always known it. Now, I think under the temporary waiver under Biden, you were actually allowed to leave the job. But in most cases, play it safe. You need to stay at the job until they have actually forgiven the 120. I'm surprised. Like I said, I'm really surprised this hasn't made more news. That's okay. We got it here. Okay. Student loan forgiveness payment counts for PSLF are also not getting updated. Meanwhile, the department does not appear to have removed the student loan forgiveness tracker. Oh, wait, hold on. Does not appear to have removed the student loan forgiveness tracker, which is good news, but PSLF payment counts are not getting updated. Great. So great, the tracker's on the screen, but you can't get an update. If any of you guys are dealing with this PSLF stuff, could you throw in the comments, kind of what are you going through? Is it as bad as the news makes it sound, or maybe it's not as bad as your whole time, 3-4 hours? Throw in the comments what's going on with your PSLF. Do you know what's going on? How close are you to loan forgiveness? I'd be really interested. I'm sure our viewers would also. Is it this bad? I guess that's really the question. Okay. PSLF, we already know it allows borrowers to discharge their federal student loan in as little as 10 years. And when it's under PSLF, no taxes are owed on it because it's public service. Okay, so anyways, I'm not really going to go through the rest of this, but I just wanted you to really get an idea as to what's going on. Okay, I will provide a link to this article in the description box. And also, I just uploaded a TikTok earlier. Is there a way for me to upload? I don't think I can find it. But I uploaded TikTok earlier. I'll link that here at the end also. Okay, folks, so there you go. I will keep you closely posted on what's going on. Don't forget, Amazon Prime Day started today, and it goes through Friday. See you guys all later. Have a great Tuesday afternoon. Need to hit the gym. Bye.